This week in our first show of a new series.
I'm skint.
And so am I.
In this week's challenge, Jason and I have to buy a whole mountain of gadgets with just a molehill of money. Woohoo!
And John enlists the help of SAS hero Chris Ryan to test some of the coolest binoculars you'll ever see.
Hello and welcome to the Gadget Show.
Now, if you're anything like us, right now you're going to be reeling back in horror at the sight of your credit card bill for those presents you bought back in December.
You're probably now in the same boat as us. The penniless boat, the skint boat.
The I haven't got enough money even for the batteries in my remote control boat.
Which is a little bit of a problem if you like gadgets, because let's face it, cutting-edge technology doesn't come cheap.
You better believe it. I mean, nowadays you buy a telly and a computer, you can spend £3,000 or £4,000.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do if you haven't got much cash and you want to buy gadgets? Well, this week, Jason and I were set a challenge that forced us to find out. We were given strict instructions to be at this housing estate at 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning last week.
Well, this is it.
Why are we here on a
know.
housing estate? I know, it's robotic lawnmowers.
No, I think it's suburban and summer's party where we get to test the latest gadgets, you know.
What are you doing?
Rabbit thing.
Is that what you do at those parties? Dress as rabbits?
Yeah, kind of. No, I don't think it's either of those things.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Oh, money. Lots of money.
Yeah. Inside the envelopes, you will find a house key and £500. The keys are for the two houses behind you, one each. The task is to fill your new house with as many gadgets on the list below as possible.
Okay, so I'm only allowed to buy my gadgets online.
And I can buy my gadgets anywhere except online. And we've only got one day to purchase everything. And then you get points for the number of gadgets and the quality of the gadgets. And the gadgets to buy are
32-inch plus television for the living room. Are you having a joke with £500?
home PC,
Hi-Fi,
digital camera,
MP3 player,
DVD player,
printer,
games console,
digital radio,
cuddly toy,
laptop,
small TV for the bedroom.
and a toaster. No, it's a lot of stuff for £500.
Well, you can spend £500 on one of those things.
Do I have to have all my stuff delivered today?
No,
'Cause that's not gonna
apparently
happen.
you've got to order all your stuff today, but it doesn't have to be delivered today. But mine does. And Susie, you have the keys to a white van. Yay!
That'll be that white van there.
Cool, brilliant.
Before I could get online, my first challenge was to get into my house. As it was a show home, this proved difficult, as I couldn't actually see a gap in the fence. Ow!
£500 really isn't a lot to spend on the list of gadgets we had to kit these houses out with. In fact, to give you an idea of just how little it is, we added up what it would cost to buy all 12 gadgets on the list if we went for the stuff that came out top in recent Gadget Show testing.
And the total was £7,402.96.
So, with no money and lots of shops to physically go round, I felt under huge time pressure. Come on! Get out of the way! White van woman.
I only had to go online to access the shops, so I decided that I had a bit of time to enjoy my new home before getting stuck in. Now, you know what? I'm actually quite getting into this show home living. You see, while Susie's, freezing her what's-its off, bombing around in a white van, I'm just chilling out here in my pretend house. I say pretend because the fruit's plastic, there's a turnip in the kitchen.
Plastic veg aside, what might really help us in this task is the fact that in the UK, we spend a whopping £720 million a week on household electronics. In fact, we spend over £5 billion every year on TV and computing equipment alone. That's a heck of a lot of money. I've been thinking about that quite a lot. If we're buying all this new stuff, then that must mean that there's an awful lot of good old stuff out there to buy. Let's use Jason as an example for this. As an early adopter, Jason will change his computer every 3 or 4 months. And sadly for the world, there are rather a few Jasons around. However, what it does mean is that there's some cool kit out there for some rather nice second-hand prices. Thank you very much.
Back at my new pad, I was coming to a very similar conclusion. I'm just doing some research into how I can find myself some cheap second-hand electronics on the internet, and I've come across a staggering fact. Look, the UK generates almost 2 million tonnes of electronic waste every year. You've got to reckon that a large proportion of these things are broken, you know, computers that don't work anymore. But if just 10% of these things are thrown away because they're out of fashion, then that's absolutely amazing. Hopefully, they're putting them on the internet so that I can buy one for my challenge.
Now, if you tune in regularly to the show, and I do sincerely hope that you do, you'll know that in our amazing competition, every week we give away a massive bundle of gadgets.
And during our Christmas show 2 months ago, we gave away the biggest prize bundle yet, 40 individual cutting-edge pieces of technology.
Yeah, it was really huge, and we thought that you might be interested to see, A, who won the competition, and B, know what it's like to be the proud owner of those 40 gadgets.
So, when we delivered them, we sent a camera crew along. To make sure that our winner, Dave Richards, received all his prizes in one piece, we crossed land and sea to take them right to his doorstep on the Isle of Wight.
In our Christmas competition, we gave away all the items that came out top in our tests. So that means Dave is now the proud owner of what we think is the best Blu-ray player, portable DVD, MP3 player, cooker, digital camera, high-def LCD TV, laptop, desktop, camcorder, digital picture frame, sat-nav and gadget chair on the market.
I just still can't believe it. It's just amazing.
And because it was Christmas, we threw in a whole lot of other stuff too, including a few robots, a Nintendo Wii, remote-control boats, cars and planes, a new mountain bike, and a full Sky HD installation and subscription. And a whole lot more.
It's in total shock.
We even installed a top-of-the-range new sound system in his car. Needless to say, Dave was speechless.
Can you imagine a van pulling up outside your house with all those gadgets in?
That was a juggernaut, Suze. A juggernaut of gadge goodness. Wasn't it?
Poor Dave.
Rich Dave.
Rich Dave.
He's on eBay right now.
No, he's not.
His mom is. She's the quiet ones. You've always got to watch the quiet ones. She runs the technology in that house.
Now, I want to talk to you about binoculars. Very handy for a whole range of activities, from rambling and bird watching to horse racing and astronomy. These Steiner Commander XPs are the sort of binoculars you might choose if your life depended on them. They have the military stamp of approval. They're used by the US Navy SEALs, no less. They're waterproof to 2 meters, shockproof, with autofocus, a built-in compass, and brilliantly clear and bright optical performance. Steiner claim they're the brightest pair of binoculars ever made, with no less than 96% of the light out there making it through to your eyes. It doesn't make for something pocket-sized, but even at night, the image is fantastic. It's amazingly clear. Ugh. Now, one major disadvantage with the Steiners is that they cost a not inconsiderable 600 quid. But there are plenty of cheaper binoculars out there that are lighter and also have equally enticing gadgety specifications. And I went to test 3 of them by spending the day with a man who really has used his binos in life and death situations.
Chris Ryan is probably Britain's toughest bloke. He spent 10 years in the SAS and was awarded the Military Medal for his part in Operation Bravo 20 during the First Gulf War. Sent behind enemy lines, he had to escape, walking over 200 miles to freedom. As we met in the wilds of Slough, I wasn't about to admit I was feeling a bit chilly.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, John. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Very good of you to lend us your expertise. And, I mean, would you have used binoculars in the military?
Oh, absolutely. We would always carry a good set of binos. One of the roles the regiment used to have was calling in fire onto an enemy position or sit in maybe in a tree line and observe a target some distance away. Now, it was very important to have a good set of binoculars because the further away from the target you were, the safer, obviously, you would be.
Chris reckons the Steiner's excellent clarity makes them ideal for military use. But their hefty price and weight means that for general use, they're a bit overkill. Our first pair for testing are these Canons, the world's first binoculars with optical image stabilization. It shifts the prisms inside to compensate for shaky hands. Would it work? To find out, Chris would try to keep me in his sights while enduring a bumpy ride. Off you go.
Cheers.
To begin with, he left the image stabilisation off. Predictably, it was a little shaky.
Yeah, using these binoculars without the stabilising platform, I'm all over the place and can't really get a steady image.
Next, Chris tried them with the image stabilisation on.
Now putting the stabilising program on, that's definitely softens the image now, and I would say they definitely work.
Even at great distances, Canon's stabilisers really help you view that far-off object clearly, whatever it is. The second pair in our test are these Bresser super wide-angle binoculars. As the name suggests, they give a greater field of view than normal ones. In fact, at a distance of 100 metres, they let you see nearly twice as much.
I don't think these are as good as the previous binoculars.
In terms of the optics, or
yes,
in terms of the...
Well, both really. This wide-angle lens, I think it distorts to the extreme left and extreme right. I don't think this would be a problem maybe over a distance of 5-10 miles if you were looking at a mountain range. That these would probably be perfect for them, or at a soccer match where, you know, that extra field of view would help.
Could that be an advantage though in your line of work? You know, seeing the enemy approaching from the left or something or whatever.
Absolutely not with a set of these. You would definitely know that you were surrounded, which wouldn't be a good thing.
Giving a wide-angle view appeared to compromise the magnification of the Bressers, so Chris and I decided to set up a binocular vision test. I ran to the other end of the field, and then Chris tried to read as far down the optician's chart printed on my T-shirt as he could, using both the wide-angle Bressers and the image-stabilising Canons.
The first set of glasses I'm going to use are the Canon. These are 10 times magnification with the stabilisers. Using these now, I would have no problem reading the lines. PEC, EFD.
What about the bottom line?
That would be EDFC ZY.
That's quite outstanding. At a distance of 75 metres, the Canon can read print that's just 1.5 centimetres tall.
Okay, these are the 7 times magnification with a wide-angle lens. They're quite hard. From the top, E, FP, T, D, Z, and I'd be guessing at the other two. The 10 times magnification, I can home in and read everything with that. With these, shooting in the wind.
So far, the image-stabilising Canons seem to be the best, but there's one more pair to go, and these are the most gadgety of them all.
Right, now the third pair we're looking at is these. They're called Bushnell Instant Replays. Take a look through there.
The Bushnells take 3.2 megapixel stills. With expandable flash memory, you can snap away to your heart's content. They can also record a 30-second continuous video loop, so you can replay anything remarkable right after you've seen it.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, if you get back up there with your T-shirt
right
on and let me have a look at you. The eye placement isn't that great. Magnification, I can read the first 4 lines. If we flip the lid for the gimmick to get the camera going and start the camera, and then locate them on the screen, because again, it's not a true representation of the screen to what you see through the lens. The quality isn't that good. So I think it actually compromises the binoculars, and you've got a gadget here that basically, if it goes wrong, it could probably affect the binoculars themselves. These are my least favourite out of all the binoculars. Again, the size of them, just the sheer quality, it sounds cheap.
Yeah.
The fact that they've got this gadget on top, you know, it's just a gimmick with a camera. Personally, I'll buy a camera, buy a set of binoculars.
Yes, absolutely. And in military terms?
Absolutely.
Well, John, Chris was pretty categoric about these. They seem quite awkward to use.
They're very awkward to use, very difficult to look through, and generally not very good. One of those bits of technological convergence that doesn't work yet.
So neither one thing nor the other at the moment. How many Gs for this one then?
1 G. I wouldn't want a pair myself.
OK, 1 G. Now, what about the wide angle, the Bresser?
Well, these are actually quite useful in certain circumstances. You want to look at the countryside, get a good feel for the landscape, and they are very good value. So for me, that's a 3G.
And finally, the Canon that seemed like quite a good all-rounder.
4Gs for the Canon. I mean, they're optically superb. I've learned since doing the piece that Chris Ryan actually now has a pair of Canons of his own, so that's a recommendation indeed, I think.
So if you seriously want some good binoculars, these are the ones to go
absolutely.
for. OK. I think the man that lives opposite me might have a pair of these. Now, it's time for the critical list. Every week on the critical list, we look at what's latest and what's best in a particular area of gadgetry. And this week, we've got some impressive mobile phones.
But of course, we couldn't start 2007 with a chat about phones and not mention this. The iPhone, which of course was launched to great applause in January. But remember, this photo from Apple is as near as you're going to get to in the UK for the next few months. So, you know, enjoy it. But rest assured, as soon as they're available, we'll have one and we'll have it thoroughly tested.
It looks really exciting, doesn't it? But I think you'd have to have really big pockets to put that phone in.
Susie.
What else have you
got? The standard of comedy on this show. OK, the other phone to look out for in the next 12 months is the latest in the N series from Nokia, the N95. This phone is the most feature-rich handset I've ever seen. It's got a nice big 5-megapixel camera, which I think is quite sexy. It's got twin speakers. Nice feature here, look, a 3.5-inch mini jack, so you can put normal headphones in there.
No need for an adapter.
It's a beauty.
Good.
OK, a nice little slidey screen, which goes the normal way, and the other way there, which gives you access to pause and play and rewind for the sort of multimedia functions on this phone. But if you're a multimedia phone, what do you need most in the world?
Well, good connection.
Good connections, connectivity. That's the buzzword, and this thing has it by the bucket load. Wi-Fi, if you're in a hot spot, so you can, if you're in a tight spot, so you can look at emails and browse the web and stuff. But also HSDPA, which can give you as quick as 1.8 meg connection, which is basically, you know, sort of almost 2 meg broadband. So very, very cool. I reckon this is the phone, aside from Apple's number, that a lot of people are going to be talking about this year.
John, what have you got?
I've got these two phones, but in order to demonstrate them, I want Jason to take one and go away as far as possible in the next 2 minutes.
Oh, I could go down to...
Don't tell me where, that's the whole point of them. In the next 2 minutes, I'll give you a call.
OK.
And meanwhile...
Oh.
Cheerio.
Well done, John. Do you want to know what I've got?
Absolutely.
OK. It's the Neo 808i, and it looks like an MP3 player, doesn't
Actually,
it?
like a very tiny MP3 player.
Look, it's so tiny, it only weighs 90 grams. It's got a 1.3 megapixel camera on the back. It's got Bluetooth. It's got radio. It is an MP3 player and also MPEG-4, so you get an awful lot for your money. And also last year when I was in Japan, everybody had these tiny little phones like this. It comes in white and black, and you won't be surprised to know that with the research they've done so far, it's gone down very well with the ladies. So, John, what have you got? Why have you sent Jason away?
Well, I've got a phone called a Twig. It's made by a company called Benefon. It's got GPS, and it's got sat-nav. In itself, that's nothing particularly unusual. But what's unusual is that the sat-nav and GPS is interactive. So you can actually ask other Twig users where they are. Now, I want to see if it works. I want to see if we can find where Jason's got to in the last 2 minutes. Now, what's happening here?
Where is he?
He's on the corner of Alcock Street and Heath Mill Lane. That's just where we do our dubbing. Found you. I want to check that he is actually there, though. So, but unfortunately, to call him, I can't use the same phone while he's in the process of telling me where he is. So I'll have to call him on the other phone.
Oh.
Hello, Jason speaking.
Hello, Jason. Now, on my map here, it says that you are on the corner of Alcock Street and Heath Mill Lane. Is it fibbing?
Hey, he said I'm on the corner of Alcock Street and Heath Mill Lane. That's exactly right.
This is exactly where you are. So the Twig works. Right, you can come back to the studio now. I don't need to catch cold in that rather delicate pink sweater. Right, OK, see you in a minute. Cheers. Yeah, so I can imagine all sorts of uses with this technology, you know, anxious parents keeping tabs on their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you with your complex love life, you can keep track on all these.
Very dare you.
I've got something really cool to show you. It's part of a laptop from the new Asus laptops range, and it's a feature of Windows Vista, the new operating system from Microsoft. It's called Sideshow, and it enables you to access various functions within your laptop without actually turning it on. OK, sounds a bit strange, I'll demonstrate. Can you see this full-colour screen here? It's a tiny flat screen on the top of the laptop. And what I've got is access to some of the basic functions in my computer. So say, for example, I want to look at some images, then I've got some simple thumbnails taken from my normal My Pictures folder. Another lovely feature, I think this is the real killer app, I can play MP3s from the main hard drive of the computer without turning it on, which is absolutely brilliant. And one other really natty feature is once you've set it up within the main computer, you're just one click away from checking all the emails in your inbox. So I definitely think that Sideshow is something to look out for in the future. Now it's time to return to our Filling a House with Bargain Gadgets challenge. Earlier on the show, Susie and I were given 2 identical houses next to each other. That's cool. The problem was we weren't just going to live in them. We actually had a job to do, which was to fill them with cutting-edge technology as much as we could for under 500 quid each.
And the rules were that Jason had to shop online, whereas I had to stick to going to the shops.
And we had to get top-notch gadgets because John's going to judge them, OK, both in terms of quantity, so how many of the 12 we actually managed to get, and quality. So grab yourself that bottle of pennies in the corner and take note, because we're about to show you how you can bag yourselves a series of serious bargains. We rejoin the story as Susie is closing in on her very first bargain.
As Jason mentioned earlier, we throw away around about 2.5 million tonnes of household electrical equipment every year. Most people take it down to the tip. And if your tip has got a shop on it like this one, it could be a great place to bag a bargain.
Going to a tip shop made me feel like a womble. And just like those furry animals on Wimbledon Common, I was looking to make use of all the things everyday folk leave behind. The great thing was that a bit of wombling got me some very cheap prices.
This is what I've ended up getting from down the tip. First of all, this hi-fi, it's got a radio, cassette, CD player, 25 quid, all in good working order. This PlayStation, look at this, original PlayStation in its box, fully packaged, 20 quid, sound like Del Boy. And finally, and I'm really, really pleased with this, this is a DVD player, again in its box, in fully working order, 10 quid. So it means I've got loads of money left to spend. Excellent.
It was only an hour into the challenge and I'd already got 3 gadgets off the list, and I'd only spent £55.
I reckon that's Susie outside. Have a look. Yeah, excellent. Hello, neighbour. You all right?
Guess where I've
How you doing?
I'm really excited.
Where?
I've been to the tip.
Brilliant. I'll put my fake coffee down for that.
You're not coming.
Huh?
I'm not showing you.
Why not?
No. No, I'm not showing you.
Remember, you're a womble. What an image, eh? Susie dressed up in a big hairy suit, rummaging around in dirty nappies and bits of potato peelings. Anyway, that's enough of my fantasies. I've got work to do. Goods are recycled from one person to another online as well, on sites like Gumtree and auction sites like QXL, eBid, and the mother of them all, eBay. I started trawling them to find some bargains. 37 quid for a DAB radio. It's a definite possibility. One site that's good for eBayers is Fat Fingers. It searches for misspelt listings. So when I put in the word laptop, it then looks for typical misspellings like laptops and latops. These sales are unlikely to come up on your normal eBay search, and so they tend to have less bids, which means you're more likely to bag yourself a bargain. I've got a DAB FM stereo radio here for 99 pence. That can't be right.
It was now 11 a.m. and I was well into my shopping stride. I'd found a great place called Complete Wasters. It's a store that takes in old computer equipment, refurbishes it and sells it on at ridiculously low prices.
I managed to get this Pentium P4 PC for £111. That is a fantastic buy for a really good piece of kit.
Refurbishment is big business nowadays, and there's local shops like this dotted all over the country and online. For more info, take a look at our website. Unfortunately, Complete Wasters don't do many laptops, so I headed to another refurbishing shop, Speedy.
I need a laptop, I need it quite quickly, and I need it as cheaply as possible.
Right, OK.
Welcome to your worst customer.
They had a choice of laptops, but on my budget I had to go for the cheapest, Pentium P3 at £99.
And I will be needing my pound.
And you want your pound change?
Meanwhile, back at my new pad, things weren't going as slickly as I'd hoped. I'd lost auctions on eBay, and by lunchtime I'd managed to buy the grand total of 0 gadgets. Ah, look, I was outbid on the PlayStation. It sold for £10.50. But then my luck changed, thanks to FreeCycle. It's a big community domain where people post details of things that they no longer want. You apply for them, and if you're first in line, you get them for free. I suddenly spotted a computer that was being given away. When big items like this one go up for free, they don't last very long, so I bagged it. That is just amazing. A free computer. It kind of makes sense because, I mean, I've got loads of stuff that, you know, is kind of rotting away in a cupboard somewhere, and it would be of use to a great many people. What a great idea. In fact, I'm going to bring Susie in, just gloat a little bit down the phone.
Jason Bradbury.
Hi. Hi, Susie. How's it going?
Yeah, really good, actually. I'm quite excited. I think I'm doing quite well. I reckon I'm about halfway through now. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. I'm about halfway through as well.
Right, OK.
Have you got your computer yet? I just wondered if you got one cheaper than I've managed to get one.
Well, how much did you get a computer for?
Completely free.
What?
Completely free. I completely...
What, you nicked it?
No, I didn't nick it. It was on this community site. Not bad, though, huh?
Oh, that's really... No, Jason, that's
go
really
on.
great.
See you later. Bye.
There's nothing like knowing that Jason's doing well to get me thinking. And I struck gold with an idea to go to a warehouse that deals in ex-rental TVs for my 32-incher. I managed to pick up this Hitachi for £100. Cheap and probably a better-looking picture than a budget flat screen. I popped back to my house again to unload, and as I had a van full of very heavy gadgets, I got a couple of the larger lads from our camera team to help me out. All right.
I think we better do 2 trips, Suze.
Don't look at what I've got.
OK. I'm looking at what you've got.
I'm protecting it.
I'm looking at what you've got.
Thank you.
You sure she's gone? Yeah. Great. Let's go and have a look what she's got inside then. Hey, she's left it open. Wow. Look at that little hi-fi. That's very impressive. Oh, no, look, a PlayStation. 20 quid. Was 150, now £100 for that. That is a great-looking telly. But I've got some serious work to do. Lads, we better get back. It was now 3 o'clock, and happy shopper Susie had racked up 6 gadgets for a cut price, £360, whereas I only had my computer to show for my efforts. Yes, it was free, but I still had 11 gadgets to buy. I was under pressure and started bidding hard. First off, I found another old PlayStation on eBay for a tenner. Then things started coming in thick and fast. Small TV with remote, 20 quid in the bag. Look at this. This is great value for money. A 14-inch laptop, and it's only 150 quid.
My pressure was time. The shops were shutting, and I only just made it into the UK's biggest second-hand chain, Cash Converters.
So I get £5 off that.
Yeah, I can let you have that for 35.
It's 105, isn't it?
105 altogether.
And is that the bottom? That's the bottom line. Did you knock another fiver
I
off?
can knock
That's
another
an
fiver off for you.
200, make it a straight
£100,
100.
yeah.
Woohoo!
Haggling hard got me a small TV, digital camera, digital radio, and a brand new iPod Shuffle for an amazing £100. I had 40 quid left, 1 hour, and 2 items to go.
I was up to 7 gadgets and had spent £308.89 so far. I had no idea you could get them up so cheap. I'm definitely having that.
Only the big retail parks were now open, and Tesco do a value range of electricals as well as real fruit and turnips, so I rushed there to pick up a toaster.
Whilst I bought the same thing online. £14.94. That'll do me, thank you.
All I had left to get was the printer, and I just managed to squeeze into Curry's before they shut to get one.
Whereas I was late night shopping online, the place where the shops never close. I had just 2 hours of the day left, 3 gadgets to get, and if I'm honest, not a lot of money left.
I mean, the thing is, we were trying to get, gadgets as cheaply as possible. We're trying to get all 12 gadgets for under £500, but along the way, saw some just incredible things, didn't we? Yeah, the second-hand stuff is really, really good.
Can I show you what I picked up? It's
Yes,
not
you
part of my
can.
challenge,
Right.
but I just thought it was a really good illustration of this point. Let me bring it over here. Oh, now, let me just say one thing. It's brand new, all right? I've got this from Cash Converters, and this is cutting edge as far as sort of entry-level theatre surround sound is concerned. Look at that, it's absolutely brand new, which
All
means...
packaged up.
Yeah, you also get the manufacturer's warranty, Suze, from Cash Converters when you buy this thing. This whole lot, including a DVD player that comes with it, 150 quid. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Instructions, everything.
Remote control, the works.
Really good. You know, in the film, I
Yes.
went to a place where they recondition laptops, and that's where I got my laptop for the challenge.
Yeah, for 99
Yeah,
quid.
I know, £99,
good.
took the pound change home. Obviously, I had to get the cheapest one, but I also saw this, absolute design classic Apple iBook.
Lovely. How much?
£189.
Oh, that's really good.
£189 for an Apple iBook. I think that's absolutely superb, I really do.
Great. But of course, all that information is great for you lots. But if you don't mind, we've got a challenge to settle, Ms. Perry.
We certainly have.
Did you really get all 12 items?
Yes, you know I did. Got all 12
budget?
gadgets.
On budget?
Came in budget, but we don't know whether you got 12
Flex.
items. And we don't know whether you came in
Did you used to do that when you were at school? Was it just me?
Giblar, we used to say.
Oh. Anyway, we don't have to worry, squabbling, like we do, because we've got a proper adjudicator. His name is John Bentley, and he's going to decide once and for all which of us two came in on budget and got the best kits. But of course, that's going to happen after the break. So you go make yourselves a nice cup of tea and join us as John links live via the wonders of the internet to this here studio. Welcome back. Right, it's time for the results of our see how much really relatively inexpensive kit you can cram into a small semi-detached house challenge. All right? The idea was that Susie and I were each given £500 and 12 specific gadgets that we had to purchase in one day.
It wasn't just a day.
Yeah, we learnt a lot. Learnt a lot about what cool kit you can get for very little money.
But now...
It's judgment time.
It is. So we've sent John to the two houses that we had to kit out. So if the webcams are working properly and technology doesn't fail us, we should be able to see and hear the wonderful John Bentley. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can just about hear you anyway, so you have to speak up. But I'm here in the hallway of a very tastefully furnished home.
That must be mine, John.
The only thing is, I haven't found the stuff yet.
Oh, no problem. They're all upstairs. I think you go up the stairs, turn right, and then first on the left.
Right, a room full of stuff. We've got a printer, laptop.
Oh, yeah.
Computer. What sort of specs are these?
Oh, well, the laptop's a P3, 500 megahertz. The computer, 1.8 gigahertz.
Rather splendidly antique games console. DVD player, hi-fi of sorts. Toaster, tick. And really rather impressive-looking TV, actually.
Oh, yeah, John, that's...
How much do you pay for this?
That's a CRT, all right, and it's HD ready, John. A Samsung, cost me 220 quid.
Give you extra point for that.
Amazon Marketplace. Extra point, did you say?
Yes.
But John, how many gadgets are there?
That is a slight problem, Jason. There seem only to be 10.
John, you know the desktop computer?
Yeah?
I got that completely free. Didn't cost me a single penny.
Yeah, OK, all right. I'll give you an extra point for that.
Yay!
In total, I'm going to give you 12.
Thanks very much, John. Yeah, I think that's very fair, thank you.
Look, I don't. You didn't get a camera and a digital radio.
Sorry about that.
So John's on his way to my house now, through my front door, where he will find 12 gadgets. No. 12, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, I get it.
TV, home PC, hi-fi. Much better hi-fi than Jason's, I must say.
Oh, thank you very much. I got it from the tip.
You've got a camera. Oh, and you've got an iPod Shuffle, a new iPod Shuffle.
Yes, I did.
Really?
1 gig, thank you very much.
This is so exciting.
New.
What?
1 gig, thank you very much.
Games console. Ooh, you've got games as well.
Yay!
Laptop. Toaster. Well done, Susie. You seem to have got all 12 gadgets. I would assume, naturally, you came in under the budget as well.
Yeah. Budget. Well, John, because I got 12 gadgets, I slightly went over budget, but only by £9.
Pains me to do this, Susie, but I've got to deduct a point for being over budget. So at the moment, you've got 12 gadgets and 11 points. But I am going to give you an extra point for the iPod Shuffle, because it's a new gadget. Also, an extra half point because you actually managed to get some games with your friends. So, final scores are Jason with 12 points and Susie with 12 and a half.
Oh, yes. I love you, John Bentley. Thank you very much. What a great way to start the first series for me. Oh, don't worry, there's always next week.
You're sickening, do you know that? Talking of next week, another great show coming up. Please don't miss it. Here's a few clips of what you can expect. It's unbearable. See you next week.